kids are...
There was a girl that read a whole bunch of books.
Judy. Yeah, she was always... Well, she ended up, I double-checked. She had the highest IQ that our school had ever had. And it was up... And it was off the charts as far as being scored.
Wow.
What she could do on an IQ test.
Judy.
And I said she was great. And I said, so I heard that she read a little bit too. And I said a lot of times she'd be in my class and she'd get done with her science book or her geography book. And then she'd close it and then she'd take out a reading book.
This was like 7th or 8th grade?
7th and 8th, both I had her. Yeah, it'd be 7th and 8th graders both. And so I called her mother and I says, does Judy read a lot? And, oh, yeah. She says, could you come over sometime after school? Because she goes into the family room and reads.
Instead of watching TV?
Instead of watching, well, anything, but she reads. And I think you should see her. So I said, okay, which door should I go to come in? Your front door or the back door, which is by the wall? That was between the school and their backyard.
Oh, they lived right by the school?
Right by the school, backed up to the school, yeah. And so she says, come in, I'll meet you at the wall. There was a gate close by. So she called me one day and she says, John, can you come over today now? She said, make it about 3:50 to get here. I said, okay. So she met me at the gate. She says, come on in here now, we can't talk. So she walked me up to where we could look through into the family room. And there was a TV, and there's nothing there, and she was sitting there, and she had, I counted 17 books in a semicircle around the front of her. And she'd read one, put the bookmark in, pick up the next one, close the first book, open up the second one, through 17 of them, and then she'd start over again. And I said, that's it. I said, could you do something for me? Whenever these books are going to be returned, I said, I'd like to go down to the Huntington Beach Library, which is the one downtown. We didn't have the other one. And I said, what I'll have them, if you'll return them and tell them that I had asked, remind them that I had asked to get all 17 books. And she says, what do you got in mind? I said, I'll tell you later. And so anyway, I said, I want to read them. So they called me and said the 17 books were there and I could have them. I said, okay. And I said, I'd like them for 2 weeks. Okay, and so anyway, I made a 100-question test out of those 17 books. And a few of my questions were, when Aunt Majel came to, or Aunt somebody came to visit the Williams family for a birthday party, and I mentioned a girl's name. I said, this is made up. I said, but one of the books you read has that kind of a thing in it. An aunt that came to visit. I said, I don't know what any of your aunt's names are, so I just made one up. But when they get to that question, then that's one of your aunts that came to visit that you wrote about. And I said it also came because of it's also a part of that book that you read. There was an aunt that came to visit a family. And I said, and then you put in there that your aunt came to visit you. And she had on a similar type outfit, but not quite the same colors and everything. Anyway, I said, I like it when you do that. So anyway, I said I had 100 questions on the 17 books, particularly right out of them. I got them right out of the book. And I said they were very specific. And I said she got all 100 correct. And some of them were obnoxious. I'd never have asked a question like that on a test.
So her comprehension was great.
Her comprehension was great. She never had her mother says she reads and she remembers right away. I said she can take your science book and read the assignment, bang, and I can ask her any question out of it I want and she's got the answer.
That's just amazing.
And I said, well, I figured that too. Yeah, her last name was Scrutchfield.
Judy Scrutchfield?
Yeah. And she's the one, and I told her once, I said, Judy, you can become anything that you'd like to in the world. A doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, a college professor. I said, even a garbage hauler. And you do any of them to success because you're just that good. So don't let yourself get wired into one. Maybe you might want to think about what you'd really like to do and be willing to leave one and go to another one if it would make you feel better about it and you'd like it better. Anyway, I saw her a few years later. She was out of college then. She'd gone to Riverside, I think, to college. And she said, Mr. A, I just want you to know I'm married now, and I have a child, and I married the fellow that I went through 4 years of college with. And we didn't start going with each other until we graduated. And then we got married before the summer was over with. And I said, you got her, huh? And I said, well, what I'm interested in is what decided to become. What was your college? She says, doesn't make any difference what it became. She says, I got my second baby on the way, and I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Oh.
And I said, oh.
And probably still reading.
Yeah, and she was still, yeah, she did. And I says, one thing, Judy, don't stop the reading because your kids need that example. And that's great.